the rivalry between the US and China is getting intense. Both are flexing their economic and military muscle in a strategic region, Latin America. Since then, trade between China and Latin America has skyrocketed. From 2012 to 2021, trade between the US and Latin America grew by a more modest 37%, going from $1.35 trillion to $1.86 trillion. In 2006, China took the lead for the first time, becoming the region's largest trading partner. In 2012, bilateral trade was worth $260 billion. And when we talk about exports, it's not just about raw materials. Many Latin American countries have a lot to offer, like cars, technology products, and even food. By 2021, it had reached over $1 trillion. That's a fourfold increase in less than a decade. They've been exporting more than just soybeans and corn to China. In recent years, the U.S. has received more than 3 times the number of migrants from Latin America compared to China. While China focuses on economic partnerships, the U.S. has a broader strategy. Yes, our total trade with Latin America is smaller than China's, but our per capita income is much higher. Our cultural influence is also more significant, with more social media users choosing American platforms. And when it comes to migration, Latin Americans prefer to come to the U.S. than China. Recently, China became the world's largest importer of Argentine beef. It's also about values, culture, and the overall quality of life we offer. So who's winning the hearts and minds of Latin America? Let's analyze the latest developments. China's President Xi Jinping kicked off his first term in office with a visit to Latin America in 2013. In comparison, the U.S.-Latin America trade story is rather modest. But wait, there's more. China has also become Latin America's top trading partner, surpassing the United States. Why are Latin American countries turning to China? Well, it's all about the money. China is a huge market for Latin American exports. Let's take Argentina, for example. What about the United States? Well, they're still Latin America's top merchandise export market. But the U.S. has a much higher per capita income than Latin American countries. If we look at the data, we can see that the U.S. has more cultural influence in Latin America. For example, when it comes to social media, 30% of users in the region use Twitter, which is more than double the global average. This aligns with the U.S., where 23% of Americans use Twitter. In China, only 5% of the population uses Twitter. So it makes sense that they would buy more from us, right? Well, yes, but it's not just about money, it's also about values. So despite the economic growth with China, Latin America remains culturally closer to the United States. Now, if we look at the number of migrants, the U.S. is the top destination for Latin American migrants, followed by Spain. The U.S. and China's different approaches toward Latin America reveal an important lesson. This shows that the rivalry between the U.S. and China is not just about economics. Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoy our content, please subscribe and like the video. Your support helps us continue to produce informative content.